I firmly believe that humans innately need to be in the same place with each other, physically, which is why I spend a lot of time focused on physical experiences where they meet digital experiences and how they move between those two things, especially in this day and age. The New York Times recently did an article, 30 charts, that shows how everything changed during the pandemic. What I thought was interesting to look at the long-term effects between 2020, the surge of the pandemic, and today. I pulled out some of the charts that best illustrate my belief that humans need to be physically with each other. This first one shows visits to national parks, the Great Smoky Mountains being much closer to lots of metropolitan areas. People flocked to get outside and went to the closest parks that they could find, where you could see the dip in more remote places like the Grand Canyon, but steadily increased after that. We watched a lot of TV when we were confined to home, but it's been steadily decreasing as we theoretically get back outside and have ability to meet with people in real life. Similarly, this chart illustrates how Zoom and Peloton, two home community apps, if you want to think of them like that, surged during the lockdown, but drastically dropped afterwards when we were able to meet back in person. Looking at this through the food lens, we spent a lot more groceries when we were confined to home, but when you compare groceries against restaurants, you can see how restaurants rapidly came back, again indicating our desire to socialize with each other in physical places. And lastly, and maybe most concerning, time socializing with others. Clearly it dropped when we couldn't be with others, and it has sharply increased since then, but if you notice, it has not quite yet reached pre-pandemic levels. But particularly in major metropolitan areas, you're probably saying that that's already reached those different levels, in that it's very difficult to get theater tickets, it's hard to get restaurant reservations in a lot of cases. It just seems like people are out with each other and about more often than they ever have been. And this is precisely my point, that we all have this innate need to be with each other physically. And now more than ever, we've commandeered these things that were maybe pre-pandemic, just things that we did on a daily basis, like have a meal, and turn them into events, which on one hand I love to see because it's getting us out and with each other more often. I think the same could be said for our digital lives, particularly the platforms that promote the things that we do in real life. There's a lot more social media content compelling us to go see certain things. And with those two trends and the charts that I showed you, it's no doubt that experience design is becoming an even more critical component to how we live our lives. It's those tiny little things through the digital and physical experiences that are going to make us as humans connect better, happier, and do that whole thing again. I'll see you tomorrow.